Hey, what is going on, you guys? Welcome to another episode of the Trainer Talk. Today, we're going to be talking about New Year, New You. So 2023 is right around the corner. So you're going to be starting to set some goals, New Year's resolutions. We tend to do this every single year, and unfortunately, for a lot of people, they don't end up following through with those goals they set or following through with those resolutions. So we want to try to help set you up for success as we enter 2023, and also kind of tell you why this happens, why 95% of the people that set those goals at the beginning of the year don't end up following through with the goals throughout the whole year. They do really well when they start, but why don't they follow through? So we want to kind of go over that and then help you kind of switch that and battle it so that you can achieve success and keep it going all year long.
Yeah, I think the main thing that hinders people is, good habits will make rational sense. People want to eat better. They want to lose weight. They want to start exercising, right? That's the main things that you see in a New Year's resolution. Or maybe they want to stop a bad habit. Maybe they want to stop drinking, stop smoking, different things like that. And even though it can make rational sense, if it conflicts with the identity that you have of yourself, of how you see yourself, if you see yourself as a smoker, as a drinker, as someone who's unhealthy, not fit, then you're going to fail to put that into action because it conflicts with your inner identity. There's like layers to us. So there's like our identity that's at the core, and then there's our processes, which is our habits just outside of that. And then there's the outcomes that we want that are on the even broader outside. So that's what everyone sees, is the outcome of everything. They don't see your internal identity and how you see yourself, and they don't even necessarily see the habits that you have. So kind of what we're wanting to make the point is you have to redo and revisit your identity, what you tell yourself that you are, like, I am this way, or I am always going to be like this. Those stories that you tell yourself is more of your identity, and that you can actually switch that and mold it. It's something that should be revisited and redone every so often when you change like where you want to go in life or who you want to be, right? New year, new you. Who do you want that to be? And then you can kind of build out around that. So it's coming down to what's that core identity, and then how do you change that to get to where you want to go?
Yeah. So once you can identify with who you want to be, so if I say I want to be a fit and healthy person, then you can ask yourself, what does a fit and healthy person do on a daily basis to be fit and healthy? And then you should start incorporating those healthy habits that a fit and healthy person would do in order to achieve your outcome. So a lot of people just set an outcome goal. So they'll just say, I want to lose 20 pounds, or I want to, I'm going to quit eating treats starting January 1. Well, it's a lot easier to start incorporating healthy habits than just stripping away all your bad, unhealthy habits. So if you're somebody that does snack and does get fast food and things like that, it's going to be very challenging just to quit all those things. But what you could do is say, what does a healthy and fit person do? Well, they probably drink water and they work out a couple of days a week. So I'm going to start doing those habits. Maybe they eat healthier meals, so you start eating a healthier meal. And then what you'll find is naturally you'll start to get rid of the bad habits that you were doing, because it is easier to add in a healthy habit than it is to completely take away a bad habit. And that's why smokers really struggle with quitting smoking. But if they were to start working out, eating better, drinking water, eventually it's going to be a lot easier for them to quit because they're doing all these other healthy things. Mm-hmm. So that's just one example of how you can start to kind of make that adaptation.
Yeah. Coming into the identity change with that, asking yourself who you want to be, there's a lot of different things that you can go with as far as the identity. You can say, I am a runner, or I am a fit and healthy person. I am a person that exercises. Mm-hmm. And a lot of where you're sitting right now with your current identity, maybe you view yourself, I am an overeater, or I am a stress eater, right? That's still a story that you're telling yourself. Yeah. You weren't born as a baby a stress eater. Babies don't even know how to eat when they're born. Mm-hmm. So you can't be born into a different thing. Like, obviously there's genetics in it, but it's way more of how you view it yourself as an adult now, and the stories that you tell yourself about that. Now coming into changing that, it's going to be very hard because you have all this evidence from years of having those habits and telling yourself the same story over and over. It's like planting a seed and then it grows these roots, and the more time that you tell yourself the same story over and over again, the deeper those roots grow and the harder it is to pull that tree out. So sometimes if you've been doing this for years and years, it's going to be harder to break that underlying identity. But the best way to do that is to start proving it to yourself by making a vote every day. Every action you take is a vote towards the person you want to become. So if in the new year you want to be a healthier, fitter version of yourself, every vote you make, like, make sure that it's towards that new person. And one way to kind of think about this, you don't need to be perfect on this. You know, when people vote for elections for a president, the majority wins. It's not, you have to get every vote to become president. So to become that best version of yourself, just make sure the majority of those daily choices and daily habits that you have are that vote towards becoming a better you.
Yeah, for sure. So for example, like, if you're finding yourself after work, what am I going to have for dinner? And you're like, oh, maybe I'll go get Dairy Queen. And then you ask yourself, would a fit and healthy person make the decision to go to Dairy Queen? No, then you should steer away from that. Then ask yourself, what would a fit and healthy person do? They would probably cook a meal or find a better option. And if you do that a majority of the time, like she said, you're going to win as long as you stay consistent with it. And I think another reason that people fail on their New Year's resolutions is they try to go black or white, 0 to 100. It's either they're 100% on track or they're not going to do it at all. And there's just no way of succeeding with that. So I'm really glad that you said you don't need every single vote in the world to win. You just need the majority. So we like to say in all of our talks, 70, 80, 90% of the time, if you're on track, you're going to be successful. And it's more important to be 70% on track 100% of the time throughout the year than 100% on track for only 2 months out of the year.
Right.
So trying to just do your best, making those conscious decisions about every action that you're taking throughout the day, and then continually upgrading and improving your skills. So there are going to be habits that are going to come more natural. We start out people with our new programs. For example, we have a few key habits that we need them to focus on. So a nutrition habit, a water habit, sleep, and then their exercise. And for some people, they have no problem drinking enough water, but they really struggle with sleep. So we're going to focus more attention on how can we prioritize sleep and get better quality sleep, and just start including a couple of key action items every day to improve on that, and then keep building and building and building. And once that habit becomes second nature and it becomes easier for them, we move to the next habit, and we do the same thing for that. So maybe, working out is something that you really struggle with. Maybe we just need to get you walking a few days a week, get you moving your body, and then we can get you to couple workouts a week. And after you get a couple workouts a week and you do that consistently, then you can go to 4 or 5 workouts, and you keep building and building and building on it. Instead of starting out, boom, I need to work out 5 days a week because that's what everybody else does. What you don't realize is everybody else started from a blank slate as well at some point. And we all didn't just boom jump into working out 5-6 days a week. We started out with a couple days and we built on it and stayed consistent with it.
Yeah, exactly. Like taking those first little steps, like the smallest thing, whether it's just showing up to the gym or putting on your shoes and not even going out for a walk, but just putting on exercise clothes, like just building those little habits of like, hey, I'm starting to start these habits. I'm starting to change my identity and become someone else. Really breaking down the habits is cool because those are the things that are going to get you to success long term. It's the repeated daily actions. That's why we focus on that so much. We're not focusing on, okay, we need to lose 20 pounds as fast as possible. How are we going to do that? We're building our habits first, and we're letting the results take care of themselves. Mm-hmm. For some people, it's going to be faster. For some people, it will be slower. But results are still results, right? Be very focused on your current trajectory, not your current results. That's the biggest thing. Basically your outcomes, where you're at right now, is a result of your prior habits. So if you are out of shape or unhealthy, have some sort of chronic disease due to not taking care of your body, then that's a lagging outcome, lagging result of your prior habits. So if you weren't eating the right foods, you weren't exercising, then obviously leading to that point, that's the outcome from those habits. It's not like all of a sudden, boom, this happens out of nowhere. It's a gradual buildup over time. And it's the same way with becoming a fit and healthy person. Rather than focusing on the end result, it's going to come if you just focus on these daily habits and focus on the consistency of that, like 70, 80, 90% consistency. As long as you're doing that, the majority of the time, you will get there. And obviously, if you're 90% compliant versus 70%, you're going to see that faster. You're going to have more feedback, more motivation. You're going to get to that outcome and that goal sooner. And having the goals is definitely important. Like setting the New Year's resolutions, being like, okay, this next year I want to do X, Y, and Z. That's definitely important for setting a direction, but that shouldn't be the main focus. The main focus should be on developing the systems and habits that will get you to that.
Yeah.
It's like saying, oh, I want to get to Paris, France, and then you don't book a flight or anything. You just say, oh, well, one day I'll get there somehow.
Yeah.
It's like, are you going to go by boat? Are you going to fly? Are you going to fly straight flight? Are you going to do different points? Are you going to go somewhere else first? Right? There's all these different things. You got to set up the systems and put those in place. That's what's going to lead to your success, not just having goals, because whether you fail or whether you succeed, they all have the same goals. So everyone who makes New Year's resolutions, even though probably 98% of them don't fulfill them, they all have the same goals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Whether they succeed or whether they don't. The ones that succeed are the ones that have the habits and the systems in place.
Yeah. And I want to circle back. I like what you said, about how you get out of shape. So how you got to that outcome was because of your past experiences and habits. Is how you got to the point to where you're unhappy with where you're at. Maybe you're overweight, you have developed a disease, something like that. It's from all your past experiences accumulated over time. So it took a long time to accumulate that. So if you think about gaining 50 pounds, you can't do it in 30 days. It would almost be impossible to gain that much in 30 days. So don't expect to completely get rid of those in 30 days either. It's going to take time, and it's going to have to accumulate over time. And so what we're trying to say is if you have a 20 or 30 pound goal, you need to be realistic with it and say, what is a realistic amount that I can put work in to achieve that goal? And then you break that goal down into the systems and habits. What do I need to do on a daily basis that's going to steer me toward that goal? And those are the habits that we're talking about. So you need to, incorporate better nutrition, incorporate movement into your life. Make sure you're drinking water and not a bunch of pop every day. Make sure you're getting enough sleep. Make sure you have a more positive mindset. So start telling yourself, I am a fit and healthy person. I do work out. I do like eating healthy food. I do drink water. I don't drink pop. I'm not a pop drinker. If you identify yourself as those things, you're convincing yourself, and eventually over time, you will become whatever you're telling yourself. And it's the people that come into the gym and they say, I am overweight, I am fat, I am out of shape, I can't do this, I can't do that. Those people have a way harder time getting to their goal because they're basically growing those roots that she talked about, solidifying themselves as an unhealthy and unfit person. They're just adding water to the plant over and over again until they're never going to get to their goal. So you need to start changing that mindset. Once you start practicing these habits, you need to say, I am a fit and healthy person because I am meal prepping, I am eating better, I am drinking water, I am moving my body. That is what a fit and healthy person does. Therefore, I am going to be, or I am fit and healthy. And you definitely will get to that goal as long as you stay consistent. Consistency is definitely the most important part, coupled with discipline. You've got to be disciplined. You're never, ever, 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 ever going to be motivated for your entire life. The New Year's resolution is simply there for motivation only. It gets you a little bit of motivation to get started, but it's going to take discipline and consistency to actually get you to that end goal. And to get to that end goal, you got to break it down and focus on the systems and the day in and day out habits that you need to incorporate to get there.
Yeah. And I do believe that it is a good time to start to change your lifestyle, change who you see yourself as, change your identity with the new year. Some people do it after their birthdays, like a certain age they hit that they're like, okay, well, I'm 50. I want to be healthier at 60 than I was at 40. Different goals that way. You're able to make that switch a little bit easier of becoming a new version of yourself. Some people start at the beginning of the month, or they like to start at the beginning of the week, which I think that's a little bit too small scale to have a meaningful impact. But a whole new year, think about if you just changed that 1% better every day for a year, and you're 37 times better than you were when you started. So by the end of the year, what would your life look like if you just improved yourself, took 1% better to developing and becoming that identity, that person, that who you want to be by the end of the year, and then you will be that person by the end. It might not always measure up to exactly what you expected, but it's definitely better than when you started every time. And looking through, okay, what changes did I make? And proving to yourself, okay, well, I chose to make meals at home instead of going out and getting fast food this week. That's really good. It's proving to yourself that you can do it. And just getting the momentum, just getting started is the whole thing. So that's why people use the new year to give them that momentum. But a lot of times people focus on the outcome, so they're focusing on the wrong thing. So they start that new year challenge, they do awesome the first month and they get incredible results, but they didn't focus time on building these systems and the habits that are going to keep those results and keep getting more results throughout the year. So then they're always doing that same challenge. Even though they get great results, they follow the plan, they're focusing on the outcomes and not the systems, and changing that inner belief. You have to almost rewrite who you are as a person sometimes. If your habits are going out to eat and watching TV at night instead of coming to the gym and working out, doing all these things that are important, that are going to get you to who you want to be, that fit and healthy version of you, you're going to have to change who you are as a person. And it's very intimidating. It's, fear of the unknown, because if you've never been in that position, if you've never been the most confident, healthy, and fittest version of yourself, it's unknown and it's scary. So going into a different phase of life, people have midlife crises. It's very similar. People have that fear. So they'd rather stay in that situation where they're miserable, but they're at least familiar with it.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think that's everything that people need to get a little bit of a motivation to start the new year off right.
Yeah. And it really comes down to internal change and not just external. And I feel like way too many people just have an external goal and they don't have an internal goal. So we talk about this a lot, finding your why. What are those core reasons why you actually want to change? So you might set that New Year's resolution goal, but you need to ask yourself, why do I want to achieve this goal? Why do I want to be healthier, fit, or quit smoking or quit eating sugar or whatever it is? Why do you want to do that? And once you can figure out that internal goal or internal reason, it's so much easier to change. And basically all it comes down to is the pain that you're experiencing from the situation that you're in right now just needs to exceed the pain that it takes to change. Because it is painful and it is hard to work out and meal prep and drink water and go to bed early. Like those things suck. Like you don't want to do that every day. But if you're suffering and you're in pain and you don't like the circumstance that you're in, the situation you're in with your body, your relationships, you're unhappy with what you see and how you feel on a day in and day out basis, if that pain is greater than the amount of pain that it takes to change, you will make the difference. You're going to put in the work and you're going to have that internal reason to actually start incorporating the habits and making those changes. And you need to learn the habits. That's another thing that she said that's very important. You can't just do the things. Like for a challenge, they basically, most of the time, you're just told what to do and you do it, but you don't actually learn it and make it a part of your daily system and your daily habits. That's the biggest, probably core difference between what we're trying to accomplish with New Year's resolutions who fall off after a month and New Year's resolutions that carry over and continue for years to come, is you need to learn the habits, understand why you're doing it, identify with yourself those internal reasons, and then you can put that action or put that basically plan into action until you achieve your goals. So, cool. That's all we have for today. New year, new you. I know we all say this every single year. You know, we try to get come up with a plan to, this is going to be the year that I change my habits and my ways. I'm going to become healthier and more fit and happy. It's enough. Stop saying it and actually go out and do it. Make the changes. You need to learn these habits and just stay consistent with it for 1 year. Give it 1 year of consistency, 70+%, and I can guarantee you that at the start of 2024, you're going to be a completely different person and you're going to be very happy with yourself. So, and obviously, if you need help getting started, that is what we do. We have our new program, which is a 63-day transformation that is designed to lay the foundation to becoming the person that you deserve to be, and will teach you everything that you need to know to become that person. And then we guide you and go to battle with you every single day for 9 weeks so that you can get those habits ingrained into your lifestyle, and then you will carry those for the rest of your life. So if you want to learn more about that, I'll throw our website in the show notes. That way you can click it and book a consultation, and we can see if the program is a right fit for you. So until then, stay healthy, and we'll see you next year. Bye.